Hi, this is Julie with Beadaholique, and today I want to show you a new product and how to use it. That is the BeadSmith Holiday Wire Form Set. In this set, you're going to get 3 wire forms for an ornament, and I've actually done one ahead of time. And so I've got a bell here, a star, and a heart. And then you're also going to get some thin gauge gold wire to wrap around the forms to make designs like you've seen here that I've done with the bell. So there's some instructions on the back, but basically you just let your creativity run wild with these things. So you're not going to get any beads included, but I've picked out an assortment of beads which will be really pretty for these forms. And then in terms of tools, you need a pair of round nose pliers and you need a pair of cutters. So I've gone ahead and I've started with the bell shape, and in here you can see in the picture what the bell shape looked like originally. I just strung some beads onto it. And then down at the bottom, I made 2 simple wire loops that I attached to each other to close the form. And then to make these bands across, I just attached some wire, which you're going to see me do here when I make the star. And then I just strung some beads, looped the wire on the other end, and snipped off the edge. So let's begin with going ahead and making, I'm going to have you make the heart to begin with because it's a little bit easier, and then I'm going to show you how to do the star. The beads I've picked out all have fairly large holes. Now that's a really important part of this project, is make sure the beads that you're going to use have holes large enough that they're going to get around these curves. Let me show you what I mean. So I've got a gold bead here. It slips on really easily. Same thing with my size 6/0 Czech seed bead mixes, which I love for this particular project. These go on really nice. They go over all the edges. So I definitely like them. Now I'm going to show you what's not going to work, just so you know and can be prepared. So I have a pretty little Czech crystal bicone and a little Czech glass bead. Problem with these is their holes are not really large enough to get up and over the curve. So these are not going to work for this project. As pretty as they are, they're not going to work. So I would avoid Czech fire polish beads or Czech or Swarovski crystal beads. You're going to want to go for maybe like some metal beads. You'll see how nice and big these holes are, or assortments like these Czech size 6/0 beads. So now that we have that talked about, I want to show you how to put these on and how to finish up an ornament. So I'm going to start with some pink beads for my heart. Now I do know, because I tested this particular large filigree bead will go up and over all the edges, but it's not going to go around the bottom of the heart. So I'm going to bead half of my frame, finish it off, and then bead the other half and finish it off. Since I'm going to bead half of it, I'm going to take a little tape and put it at the halfway mark. Just because those other beads besides the large filigrees that I'm working with do slide over this curve, and I don't want them to at this point. I want them to stop in the middle so I can see what type of pattern I'm making. So you're just going to go ahead and string on beads in whatever order you like. I'm going to do a pattern here. You can follow my pattern. You can make up your own. Slide them down. And then I'm going to add a gold bead and another colored bead and a gold bead, or actually gold filigree. And what I tried to do when I was thinking about how to make these is I wanted to be able to use these beads here on all of my frames. You'll see I've incorporated them into the little bell as well. And then I just wanted a different color of the seed bead mixes. That way it made it a little bit more of a value, which is always good. And then you get more use out of your beads too. You don't have to buy a bunch of different types of beads to get a lot different variety going here. So I'm just going to keep stringing these on in this pattern here. So I'm going to do 3 beads, a gold bead, a colored bead, a filigree, a colored, a gold, 3 more, all the way around till I get to the end, and then I'm going to show you how to finish the end. Okay, I'm almost done with this side. And I want to get to the point where I have about 1/4 inch left. So I have a few more beads to put on, but you can see how we're doing. And so I'm not going to worry about my pattern anymore at this point. I am just going to go ahead and add these small 6/0 Czech beads. Okay, one more. Actually, that's not enough. All right, so that's about what you want to leave. If you have these Czech beads vary a little bit in their width, so you can see if you can find a skinny one. So what you want to do is you're just going to make a simple wire loop with your round nose pliers, and you're just going to basically do that by bending the wire. So I'm going to grab it between the tips of my round nose pliers and just bend it over. So we made like a little curly-Q loop in there. So there we've got half of our ornament done. So I'm going to go ahead and do the other half now. So I'm going to take off my tape and then repeat the exact same process. So I started with 4 down here. I'm going to do the same here. So I'm continuing, I'm almost done with the other half. I want to show you one thing just to kind of be aware of. Czech seed beads vary in their width a little bit. And so even though you might do the exact same pattern on both sides, they're going to vary a little bit, so you might have a slightly different placement. You'll see that here, if we compare the two sides, this filigree is a little higher than this filigree. Now what you can do is you cannot worry about that, which is what I'm going to choose to do on this one. Or you can just adjust your pattern and take a look at it as you're going. I mean, they're fairly close, and I think they look really pretty how they are. But if you are working on this and you're wondering, what's going on? I did the exact same pattern of beads and they're not even, and you are using the Czech seed bead mix, that's gonna be why. But I don't really find it to be a very big deal for me personally. On the star, I'm gonna show you how to adjust accordingly. And again, it's just eye size, like what looks right is what you're gonna do versus necessarily what's mathematically correct. So almost ready to finish that end again. A couple more. So, reminder on how to do this. We're gonna grab the tip between the two noses of your round nose plier. And I'm pulling these down so that it's tight in here. I don't want this to be really loose. I don't want there to be a gap. So I'm pulling it. I'm just gonna bend it over. Keep rotating until I have a nice closed loop. So now we have our heart. And what we can do if we want to, again, it's totally up to you. You can take a little bit of this wire that comes with your kit. It's really nice thin gauge wire so you don't see it. Okay, I'm just going to cut off a little bit. And if you want to, you can just wire your two sides together. I'm just going to tuck that loop in the back so they're both in the back, and this is wire so you can bend it. And then in the back, I'm just going to twist my wires together. I don't really think this step is necessary on this heart, but I wanted to show you what you could do if you really wanted your two sides to be wired together. But I am going to not do that because I like them to be a little looser on this particular one. There we go. I think it's pretty just like that. And so you could just hang an earring hook, and then you can hang it on your tree or hang it from a package. So this is one way of doing it where all you're doing is the outside. In the picture here that comes with your kit, you'll see that they then went in and made extra interior hearts using the wire and the beads. And I'm going to show you how to do the star, which is going to show you basically the same concept of how you attach some wire, add some beads, and then reattach it. And there's a limitless amount of possibilities of what you could do with these kits. So really use this as a guide, but let your imagination run wild. The next one I'm going to show you, I really want to show you this one on the video, is the star, because it is, in my opinion, it's the most difficult one to do. So I want to show you how to do it. First off, I want you to start by making your simple wire loop to begin with. If you're unsure of the pattern you're going to do, use tape first, then remove the tape, make the loop. Because once you make this loop, you can't really go back. So we're just going to bend it. Like so. So now from this end, we're going to string our beads. And I'm just going to string the seed bead mix here that I have. This is an assorted metallic mix, which I thought would just be really pretty for the star. Okay, and you can see by having that loop there, they're going to stop. So I've got down to 1/4 inch, and this is tight. I don't have like a gap at the beginning, which is what I was worried about. And now I'm going to make another simple loop. Like so. All right, so we've got our structure. Now we're not going to join our loops like this because our star would become all off kilter. What I am going to have you do is I'm going to have you wire wrap these two edges together. And we're going to do that by taking some of our wire and I'm going to start by lining it up how I want it so that I have a nice star shape. I might actually bend this loop a little bit. There we go. Just make sure it's closed. And I'm going to go ahead, thread the tip of my wire through the loop I just made. And then wire it directly to the other arm, like so. I'm just winding it in the space between the beads. So it's actually being wound not on the beads, but the space between the beads. Now I want to take these tails and I want to work my way up along the arm. This is the hardest part of this particular frame. You can see it's starting to hold. So you see what we have in the front now? And just to make it extra secure, I'm going to use this tail and continue to wrap it. And I just guesstimated about how much wire I needed. If you need to add more, you can just cut another little length and add some more. This isn't really like a wire wrapping project where if you don't cut the right amount of length to begin with, you have to start all over. We're going to be cutting a lot of separate little lengths and working with them as we go. I feel good that that is nice and secure. We have a nice star shape, and we actually have a little hook now to hang our ornament. So I'm going to cut off the ends and just press them into place. Now we're ready to make the bridge work within our star. And the key to this is a little filigree bead. And the reason is because you'll see there's holes all the way around this bead. So when I start doing the different stripes within the stars, I could go through this bead in all different directions, which is going to be the key. So we're going to make a bridge from here to here, here to here, here to here. Every point is going to go through that middle center bead. Okay, I'm going to start with a length of wire. And this is, probably about 10 inches. And I'm going to go ahead and wrap it around one of these points. And I'm just wrapping it around that wire. Wrap it a good 3-4 times. Make sure it's snug. Cut off the tail. The first strand is the most important. Now, what we talked about with the heart was that these Czech beads can be a little irregular, and you also are kind of just having to eyeball where the center is. So I suggest starting with some Czech beads to begin with. And I am going to start with 3. Now I want to create a pattern in the middle where I'm going to have the center filigree, and then I'm going to have 2 gold beads radiating off of it with every strand. So I'm going to string on 2 gold beads and the filigree. And I want to see now if this looks to be about the center point. And to me, that looks a little low. So I'm going to take off these beads and add 1 more Czech bead. Now I'm going to try this again. Okay, that looks pretty good to me. So now I'm not going to duplicate this exact pattern on this side because we do have, this is an outward pointing point and this is an inward pointing point, if that makes sense. And so we're going to change up the pattern a little bit, but I still want the 2 gold beads to radiate off of the center filigree. So I'll put on 2 gold beads. And then I'm going to add 3 of these Czech beads, a gold bead, another filigree, another gold, and then I'm going to see how many beads I need to get up to the top, and I think I need 3 or 4 of the Czech. And I actually have more Czech than this available because they came in a really large mix. So I might need to grab a few more of those. Let's try 3 to begin with and see if we're up top. Yeah, actually that's feeling pretty good. So now I'm going to take it and wire wrap it around the top. And I'm pulling it pretty tight. Okay. And trim it. So to make this line is exactly what I did to make the line here. I should have pulled this one a little tighter, but that's what I did. I wire wrapped around the edge, strung some beads, and wire wrapped it around the edge here. So that was the exact same technique. And if you were going to do that for the heart as well, you would just do the exact same thing. So now I'm going to add another strand. You know what, I undid my wire at a random place, so I'm just not going to worry about it. I'm just going to cut myself a new end here because I know I'm going to be using a bit of this wire. You don't have to do this, but for the purpose of the video, I'm just going to cut myself another random. Okay, so now we're just going to repeat the same process. I'm going to go from a point. I'm just going to wire wrap it. Snip off the end. Because this is a point that's going outwards, I'm going to try to mimic this pattern. This is the part I want to worry about. I want to have this be identical, but I don't care if there's 3 or 4 here. So I'm going to start with 3, but I might have to undo it and do it again, which is not a big deal. 1, 2, 3, gold, a filigree, a gold, 3 more of these, and then 2 more golds. We're going to see if this lines up. Okay, so then I'm going to want to go through the center. Actually, that's looking pretty good. So now I want to go through my filigree, and I don't care which hole I go through as long as it's aiming at the point opposite that I started from. So I want to go to here. Pull it. And now I need to do the short little segment, which is going to start with 2 gold beads. And then finish with some Czech beads. So it looks like I had 4 that I started with over here, so I'm going to see if 4 is the right number again. Don't worry if it has to be 3 or it has to be 5. You're just wanting to make it look right. You're not worrying about the exact number. But that actually looks pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead, wire wrap that one in place. So I'm not going to talk through the rest of them. I'm going to go grab myself some more Czech beads. But you can basically get the idea of what we're doing. So you're just going to follow this exact same process. This is turning into a pretty long video, so I don't want to bore you by me just repeating the same steps. So I'm going to finish this off camera, then I'm going to come back and show you what it looks like finished, but the technique is going to stay the same. So go ahead, have fun trying this, and I will be back in a few with it finished so you can see what it looks like. So I've now finished all my wire work on my star. You can see what the finished product looks like. It's really quite fun, and it's not that complicated once you really start to get into it. It's the same technique over and over again. Again, it's just those filigree beads which are so important in this particular design. I want to show you also an example of I had 4 beads over by the point of the star. Here I had 3. It's really just that instance of making it look right versus exactly counting the same number of beads each time. And if you do a pattern such as this, where you've got the gold, like these little gold beads clustered here at the center versus out by the edges, you'll have an easier time of it where you won't have to worry if you need to just put some extra beads on the end. So remember how we finished it. I want to show you a close-up of the front and the back. And now you're ready to hang your star from the tree or a package. Here again is the heart, and again you could wire wrap this together. You can do some more bead work on the interior, or you could leave it how it is, which is something that I really like on that one. And then here is a kind of a middle ground for a complicated project. I've just got the stripes of the different colored seed beads on the bell. And so here you can see you can do it super easy, you can make it a little more complicated, or you could do something even more elaborate. It's really up to you. So again, this here is the Holiday Wire Form Set. It's by BeadSmith. And all you have to do is add the beads. The wire comes with it. The forms come in the package. You get 3 of them. And then we're going to turn this into a project on Beadaholique.com as well. So you can go onto our site and you can order all these beads together to go with the wire forms. So I hope you enjoyed this video and have a lot of fun making ornaments, packaging decorations, or window hangings, or whatever you want to use these for this holiday season.